Before we examine the evidence, leave a record of your existence. Subscribe to the channel. Log your exact city and local time in the comments. Now, look at the fossils. The desert floor stretches, a canvas of cracked earth. Red sandstone rises, sculpted by wind. The air tastes of dust and forgotten salt. This barren expanse once churned. It held vast marine portfolios. We examine the strata. We read the geological ledger. 300 million years ago, this was a shallow inland sea. Its biological capital flowed. The ledger recorded immense marine profits. Ichthyosaurs dominated the apex predator slot, their long snouts a brutal market advantage, their fossilized remains, hard currency. We trace predation scars on ancient fish bones, evidence of a successful enterprise. Ammonites, shelled cephalopods, were the pervasive middle management. Their coiled shells litter the fossil record, a testament to massive, albeit uninnovative, replication. But the market shifted. The tectonic plates began their slow audit. Uplift commenced. The sea, a vast investment, started to recede. Its liquidity evaporated. Water levels dropped. The salinity spiked. Oxygen became a scarce commodity. These creatures faced liquidation. The balance sheet turned red. Their biological assets became liabilities. They had no exit strategy. The sea became a dying asset. The land, a nascent, unproven market. The ledger shows a coming insolvency for all marine life. A new economic landscape would soon emerge. A new struggle. A new set of ruthless equations. The ancient seabed dries. A harsh sun bakes the saline mud. Whispers of green, tenacious and radical, begin to etch themselves onto the desolation. These are not the marine giants. These are the pioneers, staking claims on barren rock. The photosynthetic exchange starts here. 250 million years ago, the land was a frontier. The former sea had liquidated its assets. New players emerged. The initial cast of characters, simple algae, then early vascular plants. They were the ground floor investors. Their currency, photons, carbon dioxide, a few trace minerals. We examine the fossilized root systems. We see the microscopic cellular structures. These represent a new biological monopoly. They established themselves where nothing else could survive. They anchored in shifting sands. They extracted nutrients from meager soil. Their growth created the first terrestrial biomass. An entirely new economic sector began to flourish. The stakes were immense. Survival on land meant confronting desiccation. It meant resisting ultraviolet radiation. It meant developing structural integrity against gravity. Their evolutionary dividends were enormous. They engineered new internal plumbing, xylem and phloem, to transport precious water. They developed cuticles, a waxy epidermal layer to prevent dehydration. Each adaptation was a calculated risk. Each successful innovation secured a market advantage. They converted sunlight into sugar. They converted barren rock into verdant wealth. This foundational investment paid off. Slowly, steadily, the land's balance sheet began to swell with organic material. The photosynthetic output grew exponentially. It created a vast, untapped resource, a new economy of calories. This new abundance would not remain unclaimed for long. The stage was being set. New consumers would soon emerge, ready to capitalize on this botanical fortune. The game was changing. The ledger was about to record new appetites. The air hangs heavy. A faint, earthy scent of damp soil rises. The desert's grip slackens momentarily. Rain is a rare, precious commodity. Water, the ultimate liquidity, dictates all terms. 180 million years ago, a new caste arrived. Early amphibians, tied to stagnant pools, held little market share. Their permeable skin, a major liability. Their eggs demanded constant moisture, a genetic weakness. But the reptiles arrived with an innovation: a hard, leathery eggshell, a self-contained nursery, an armored investment against dehydration. We find fossilized eggs in dry, ancient riverbeds, proof of their escape from water's tyranny. These creatures, like the early Diadectes, were the first to truly diversify away from aquatic dependence. They were terrestrial venture capitalists. Their currency: stored water, efficient kidneys, internal fertilization. The climate remained unforgiving. Periods of intense drought followed brief deluges. Water resources fluctuated wildly. The biological market was volatile. Those unable to manage their internal water economy faced severe penalties. Their genes were culled. Efficient hydration became the premium asset. The desert demanded ruthless water accounting. Every organism was under audit. The amniotic egg was the game changer. It secured evolutionary independence. It opened vast new territories for colonization. Reptiles diversified. They expanded their territorial holdings. They established a new biological monopoly on dry land. This was not a gentle expansion. It was a cold, hard conquest. A systematic leveraging of a crucial resource. Survival remains a harsh negotiation. Water's value persists. With water management solved, new evolutionary pressures emerged. The growing abundance of plant life, an untapped energy source. This biomass would soon attract larger, more efficient harvesters. The food chain was poised for a vertical integration. The next ledger entry: the cost of calories. The deep ocean holds its secrets. A crushing weight, a cold, silent blue vastness. Here, sunlight is a scarce commodity. Water, pure and indifferent, shapes every transaction. 160 million years ago, the global oceans persisted. While inland seas evaporated, a different market thrived. This was the pelagic syndicate, a biological economy of immense scale. Ray-finned fish dominated. Their sleek forms, a testament to speed and efficiency. Their vast schools, a liquid asset, moved with the currents. Cephalopods, including resilient ammonites and darting belemnites, acted as agile mid-tier predators. We examined their abundant fossil shells, evidence of their enduring market share. The currency here was plankton, smaller fish, and oxygen. The stakes were high: evade capture, find sustenance. Evolution drove a relentless optimization. Efficient gill structures, hydrodynamic bodies, acute senses. These were the necessary investments for survival. Losing players were liquidated. The deep waters showed no mercy. This era also saw the emergence of early marine reptiles. Nothosaurs, with their elongated bodies and paddle-like limbs, tested the waters. They were the first land-adapted forms to attempt a partial re-entry into this vast established market. Their terrestrial genetic debt was slowly being paid down, converted into aquatic advantage. The ocean remained the planet's largest, most stable economic engine. Its ecosystems recovered from past catastrophes. They diversified. They accumulated biomass. A powerful, self-sustaining system. Its sheer scale offered endless opportunity. A constant supply of energy. A deep, unforgiving reservoir of life. The lure of this immense productive system would prove irresistible. Some land dwellers would soon attempt a full, audacious recolonization. They would seek to claim their own share of the ocean's vast liquid capital. The sandstone ridges bake under a relentless sun. Dry winds scour the ancient landscape. The former coastline, once a thriving market, now belongs to a new class of investors. Their dominion is etched in scale and bone. 130 million years ago, The reptilian stock was soaring. They had leveraged the amniotic egg, a genetic bond against desiccation. Their investment in water management, previously discussed, paid immense dividends. Now larger forms emerged. Dinosaurs, literally terrible lizards, began consolidating power. They were the new apex players. Their immense size, a strategic acquisition, their specialized dentition, a cutting-edge technology for processing plant matter or other flesh. We find their colossal trackways in hardened mudstone, evidence of their heavy footprint, their unshakable market presence. The cast here included towering sauropods, the herbivores. They were biological processing plants. Their currency, vast quantities of vegetation, a photosynthetic bounty. We analyze fossilized gut contents, proof of their caloric intake. Carnivorous theropods, like early tyrannosaurs, acted as the enforcers. They were the ultimate predators, holding a biological monopoly on high-value protein. Their serrated teeth marks on sauropod ribs tell a brutal story of systematic resource extraction. The weaker lineages, smaller synapsids, faced severe market competition. Many were outcompeted, their genetic stock liquidated. The stakes were clear. Command of the available energy. Maintain body temperature in a volatile climate. Avoid being consumed. The dinosaurs, with their efficient physiology and sheer scale, outmaneuvered their rivals. They became the undisputed shareholders of this new terrestrial economy. Their reign was not accidental. It was a calculated, brutal accumulation of biological capital. The desert, once a sea, was now their empire. Its red stone, their throne. Yet even empires face market corrections. The continental plates groaned. A low, seismic hum vibrated through bedrock. Mountains began their slow, agonizing ascent. Old coastlines, once defined by the sea's embrace, fractured. The land itself was changing its very structure. 100 million years ago, the globe was a shifting enterprise. The dominant dinosaurs, shareholders of the terrestrial biome, were operating on a grand continental scale. But the tectonic tides receded. Land masses drifted. Gondwana, the southern supercontinent, fragmented into new, isolated markets. Africa, South America, Antarctica. Each became its own economic zone. We studied geological fault lines. We observed the distribution of ancient fossil populations, evidence of a global fragmentation. This geographical restructuring created new currencies. Isolation became a driver of specialized evolution. Species, once interconnected, developed unique genetic portfolios. Large sauropods, the immense biological processing plants, found their food sources and migratory routes altered. Their established supply chains were severed. Carnivorous theropods, the apex predators, saw their hunting grounds redefined. New competitive landscapes emerged. Those unable to adapt to these new enclosed markets faced inevitable decline. Their genetic stock, once robust, now carried systemic risk. The stakes were clear: adapt or perish. The slow, inexorable forces of geology rendered old strategies obsolete. New environments spawned new iterations of life. The very architecture of the planet was being rewritten. The once fluid global market was now a series of isolated exchanges. This planetary rezoning would lead to an explosion of localized diversity. It would also set the stage for future, more brutal, consolidation. The world was shrinking for some, expanding for others. A new era of specialization and ruthless competition loomed. A shimmering heat haze distorts the horizon. The riverbeds are cracked, dry. Dust devils dance in the distance. The planet's resources are under pressure. The biological market approaches its red line. 70 million years ago, the late Cretaceous. Dinosaurs still held the biological monopoly. Tyrannosaurus rex, an apex predator, reigned as the ultimate corporate raider. Its massive jaws and shearing teeth extracted maximum protein from every transaction. Triceratops, a three-horned herbivore, represented a vast investment in defensive biomass. Its frill and horns, an armored dividend against predation, but even these giants faced diminishing returns. We analyze fossilized vegetation. We observe widespread evidence of deforestation. The supply chain for herbivores was failing. Their food source, the photosynthetic engine, was stalling. Smaller mammals, once marginalized niche players, began to diversify. They were the market's hidden innovators. They developed shrew-like forms. They exploited new, overlooked caloric opportunities. We examine their diminutive teeth, evidence of shifting diets towards insects and seeds. These creatures were resilient. They operated beneath the giants' radar. They learned to maximize every calorie. The stakes were immense. Overpopulation strained every ecosystem. Foraging yielded less return. Competition intensified across all trophic levels. The planet's carrying capacity had reached its limit. The global supply chain was under severe strain. The carbon cycle, once balanced, showed clear signs of stress. Every organism was under audit. Their genetic ledgers were being scrutinized. The system tightened. Only the most efficient, the most adaptable, could survive. The era of unchecked growth was over. Every calorie counted. Every drop of water was precious. This resource crunch created a volatile market. The stage was set. A systemic collapse loomed, a catastrophic correction that would rewrite the very definition of survival. The sun beat down. The air felt like an oven. Any remaining puddles shrank to glistening mud cracks. The world dried out. Desiccation was the ultimate auditor 66 million years ago. The KPG boundary. A sudden, catastrophic market crash. A 6-mile-wide asteroid struck the Yucatan. The impact crater, a forensic signature, tells the story. Dust clouds blocked the sun. Temperatures plummeted. Photosynthesis halted. Then, a rebound of extreme heat. The global economy, both terrestrial and marine, entered a brutal default. The ruling dinosaurs, built for an era of abundance, were the primary victims. Their large body mass, once an asset, became a severe liability. They required immense caloric intake. The food chain shattered. Herbivores starved. Carnivores, dependent on herbivores, followed. We find their fossilized remains in mass graves. Evidence of sudden, widespread mortality. Many marine reptiles, like the mosasaurs, also suffered. Their ocean ecosystem, once a stable market, turned toxic. Acid rain dissolved their shells. Ocean acidification, a lethal balance sheet entry, crippled marine food webs. Small, generalized creatures survived. Early mammals, birds, and some reptiles. They had diversified their caloric portfolios. They could burrow. They could scavenge. They could endure prolonged periods without primary food sources. Their small size, once a disadvantage, became a crucial asset. Their resilience, a critical evolutionary dividend. The event was a ruthless re-evaluation. 80% of species were liquidated. The planet's biological balance sheet was wiped clean. The long reign of the dinosaurs, a 200-million-year monopoly, ended abruptly. The vast red sandstone desert, once teeming with giants, fell silent. Life found a way, as it always does. But the cost was immense. A new age, defined by scarcity and adaptation, was about to begin. The future would be written by the survivors. The dust settles. The sky clears to a cold, indifferent blue. The vast, silent landscape is a testament to recent catastrophe. This is a bankrupt market, but opportunities, grim and hard-won, always emerge from the ruins. 60 million years ago, the planet was recalibrating. The KPG event had liquidated the dinosaurian stock. An ecological vacuum remained. A new caste stepped onto the stage, the mammals. They were small, tenacious, and adaptable. Their endothermy, a biological innovation, allowed them to maintain stable internal temperatures. Their viviparity, live birth, offered a higher investment in fewer offspring. We examined their fossilized jaw fragments and dental patterns, evidence of their generalized diets. They exploited the niches. They diversified rapidly. From insect eaters to early herbivores, they were the nimble venture capitalists of this new epoch. The desert, a legacy of the receding sea, still defined the region's economy. Water remained the premium currency. Heat was a constant, draining liability. The stakes were high. Survival depended on metabolic efficiency, on rapid reproduction, on opportunism. Birds, survivors from the avian dinosaurs, also expanded their aerial market share. They claimed the skies. They scavenged the dead. Their flight, a low-cost distribution network for calories. This was the arid rebalancing. The global market, once dominated by reptilian behemoths, was now a dynamic landscape of smaller, faster operators. They did not conquer through brute force. They thrived through adaptability, through resourcefulness. They exploited every hidden calorie, every pocket of shade. This era was a testament to the power of flexibility. The ecosystem was recalibrating its balance sheet. New biological monopolies were forming. The desert still held power. Its harsh terms would continue to shape the evolutionary equation for millennia to come. The struggle for water remained. The next chapter would be written in further adaptation. The red sandstone stands, silent and worn. The wind whispers across ancient dunes, carrying fine particles of grit. It is a landscape shaped by billions of years of ruthless, natural economics. This is aridity's legacy. Today, the desert persists. Its cast of characters are the ultimate survivors. Lizards scuttle, small mammals burrow. Cacti stand as stoic, green investments. Each species represents a long line of successful, brutal transactions. Their currency, water, meticulously hoarded. Shade, strategically acquired. Nocturnal activity, a capital gain against the searing sun. We observe the hardened scutes of desert tortoises. We analyze the specialized nasal passages of kangaroo rats, evidence of millennia of adaptation, of genetic audits passed with flying colors. The ancestors of these creatures were forged in the crucible of receding seas. They were the ones who paid the high premium for water independence. They inherited the Earth after the dinosaurian collapse, a vast market opportunity. Their evolutionary dividends were small, but consistent. They learned the unforgiving terms of the arid balance sheet. Survival became a continuous exercise in efficiency. Every calorie, every drop, accounted for. The stakes remain unchanged. The desert offers no quarter. It rewards the lean, the efficient, the opportunistic. It liquidates the wasteful. The system is unyielding. The struggle for resources is a cold, hard constant. It dictates every biological equation. The land, once a seabed, then a reptilian empire, now demands constant adaptation. Its sandstone monuments stand as silent witnesses. The relentless sun illuminates a timeless truth. Life endures, but at an uncompromising cost. The market always finds a way to correct itself.